The reason that a lot of white masc lesbians talk how they think black men sound is because of the hyper masculinization of black men that dates all the way back to slavery. I know that's a lot to take in, especially if you're a white masc lesbian in the way I'm describing. So before you comment, just breathe for a second. Let me explain. So we already know that like black men are viewed in a hyper masculine way. Like they're seen as more aggressive. They're seen as like dangerous and like really just, I don't know, hyper masculine. Under a white supremacist social system, which we have upheld for a long time, that's how they're viewed, unfortunately. Because of this, I've found that white men, while they're talking, they'll like try to like sprinkle in AAVE when they want to sound more masculine. And they usually do it wrong. I also think people understand that one for the most part. However, what no one is really talking about is how a lot of masc lesbians who are white will like not just sprinkle in AAVE in wrong ways. They like try to kind of embody it. And it ends up being like really weird. And this is where you get the hey mama's lesbian, right? And I find it disappointing to see white queer people not only adopt certain racist ideas, but to also like embody them in their queer identity. Okay, that's it. And if this was difficult for you to digest, either one, you're just not ready for intellectual conversations, or two, you haven't read up enough on this issue in particular, which is fine. If you look up hypermasculinity and black men, you'll learn a lot. And if you're having a very defensive reaction to this, like if you think I'm attacking you, or actually, I don't know. I don't have any advice for you. Cry or something. I don't know.
Oh, hold up. Chadiana just got y'all together. And I'm shook it because 99% of the time, white people are saying some nonsense. They not saying nothing intelligent. But then the 1% of the time they is saying something that is not nonsensical, they still say it the wrong way. But honestly, Chadiana, I really think that this individual had the right idea and the right execution, okay? Now, I'm going to take this a step further, all right? I've talked about things like this on my YouTube channel before. Now, mind you, I'm not part of the LGBTQ community or anything like that, but I'm nosy and I be in everybody's business. And as a black person, this actually does pertain to me. So I'm going to take it a step further and I'm going to bring up black women into this. And it's interesting because the conversation seems a bit oxymoronic, but we'll talk about that. First of all, a side note, I look good. I look good. Like, don't get me wrong, I look good every day, but it's a spectrum. It's like some days I just look good. Some days I look immaculate. Like, I'm looking real good today, and I have been for the past couple of weeks. Like, I just been looking at my reflection in the mirror, in the phone, everything. I just been like, oh, girl, you looking even better than usual. Like, I don't know what is in the air, but baby, I love it. But anyway, let's actually get into this, right? So Chadiana was discussing the scenario where white lesbians imitate black men. And I'm sure we've all seen that, okay? So we've all seen the sort of white lesbian who dresses like a black man from the early 2000s, sagging pants, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's funny because I was looking at the comments under that video and people were like, yeah, some of them even wear do-rags. Like, girl, a do-rag for what? Like, you are white. What are you saying, right? But again, like Chadiana pointed out, black men are hypersexualized and hypermasculinized, right? So for a white woman who wants to be perceived as more masculine, she's going to imitate a black man specifically, right? And he even talked about how white men will imitate black men when they want to be perceived as more masculine. They'll sprinkle a little AAVE in and stuff, right? But this is my thing. I'm a bring up black women too. Okay? Because I've discussed this in the past and we gonna discuss it again. I've spoke in the past about how gay men of all races, not just white men, right? Gay men imitate black women to a ridiculous degree. Okay? Now, I've mentioned how gay black men also do this, but honestly, I don't feel like it's as weird with gay black men, right? Because at least gay black men are in a community with black women. We're all black, so we all gonna be at the cookout together. You know, there are some similarities in the way that we speak because we all speak AAVE, yada, 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 right? So it's like, okay, yeah, gay black men do imitate black women's mannerisms, but it ain't as weird to me when they do it. It's very weird when non-black men do it. And it's not just gay white men. is all types of non-black men. Like Bretman Rock, have y'all ever heard him talk? He's literally like a minstrel show. Like quite literally, that's his whole brand, being a fake ass black woman, right? And it's just like, it's very oxymoronic because as Chadiana said, black men are hyper masculinized. Now, what he didn't say is blackness, period, is hyper masculinized. Black women are also hyper masculinized, right? So why would men who are trying to be more feminine imitate black women? Everybody knows that black women are hyper masculinized. I've discussed this on my YouTube channel 20, 50, 100 times, but honestly, this is not one of those discussions where it's like a lot of people are not talking about this or recognizing this or whatever. No, pretty much everybody knows that black women are hyper masculinized. Now, they may not necessarily care. Like a lot of folks, that'd be their first insult for black women. Oh, you masculine, so and so and so, yada, yada, yada. So I'm not saying that everybody cares, but pretty much everyone knows that, yes, black women are hyper masculinized, right? So you would think in this society where black women are perceived as the most masculine women and white and Asian women are perceived as the most feminine, you would think that gay men would imitate white and Asian women's mannerisms when they want to be perceived as more feminine, right? But no, they still imitate black women's mannerisms, even though we're allegedly the most masculine women. Like, that doesn't make sense. It's crazy because we live in this white supremacist world, right? And in a white supremacist world, black people are the most negatively affected because we are the opposite of whiteness. Now, that's not to say that, you know, like black people are the only people who are affected. That's not what I'm saying. Anybody who's not white is going to be affected by this. But yes, black people are the most affected because we are the exact opposite of whiteness. So in this white supremacist system, we are told that blackness is inferior in all regards, right? But you see everybody in the world imitating blackness, even though we are all told that blackness is the worst. And mind you, these are not just random people who don't also perpetuate these things against black people. No, these be groups of people, you know, you can look in Asia, in Central America, wherever. These groups of people also treat black people the worst in their countries. But then everybody in the world is imitating AAVE and how we dress and this and that. And it never really made sense to me. And Chadiana brought up a good example about this concerning LGBTQ people specifically, but it's not just them imitating us. It really is everybody out here. So much of it is just so directly contradictory. Like, we the worst in the world, but everybody is trying to be like us. That doesn't make any sense. That just doesn't make any sense. And then, like I said, as a black woman, it's just extra like nonsensical because let everybody tell it, we the most masculine women and all this stuff. Like, folks will literally say black women have more testosterone than other groups of women. We loud, we ghetto, we aggressive, we not feminine and dainty like white and Asian women. Okay, cool. So why is it that all of these other groups of women, let's talk about the women right now, right? Let's not even talk about the gay men, right? Why is it that when all of them want to be perceived as more feminine, they channel some sort of black woman's aesthetic? Like, everybody is like laying their wigs and stuff, colorful wigs, yada, yada, yada. Is this not what black women was doing in like 2008? But when we did it, we was ghetto and this and that and so and so and so. But now everybody's doing it and it's just a baddie aesthetic. The colorful wigs and the long acrylic nails and so and so and so. Now, when we did that back in 2008, you know what I'm saying? We was ghetto and ratchet and everything but a child of God. But now everybody else do it and it's like, y'all, it's a whole shebang.